Hey, brah.
You're like this?
You shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
Drive inside. Beautiful layup for Tyshawn Austin.
Trying to feed it in there, and that was intercepted by Dyer. He gets it up to Chavez on the fast break. Here's Cowles, kind of fumbles it. And tough basket by Cowles. Ties up things at 9 in the first quarter. That's not going to go for him. He finds Chavez. There's a dunk.
Well, that got the crowd going right now.
There they go.
Steal for Brisby on a bounce pass. Right side and sent away. Access denied. Fuentes sent it away. And then a blocking foul. Count the basket and a chance at a 3-point play for Vincent James. Three team fouls apiece here. Wrong guy to leave open. Navarez.
They're still working out with the team.
Yeah,
Every day.
Takes a lot to
Got
do
numbers.
that. And he stole the ball. He passes it off. Dunk time.
And the hot.
And that's this. You look at it too, and part of that is the momentum in the second half. And that's Colorado State. This you look at it too, and part of that is the momentum in the second half. And that's Colorado State. This you look at it too, and part of that is the momentum in the second half. And that's Colorado State. This you look at it too, and part of that is the momentum in the second half. And that's Colorado State. This you look at it too, and part of that is the momentum in the second half. And that's Colorado State. This you look at it too, and part of that is the momentum in the second half. And that's Colorado State. This you look at it too, and part of that is the momentum in the second half. This you look at it too,
was terrific.
Especially during prom. Alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because I'd seen a little of them. I thought they were good. They showed me a lot last night. They showed me that they're complete. They showed me last night that Scott is legit, that Cartier can ball, that they're bigs. Like Nick Clifford, the guy that they got from the transfer from Colorado, was really good. Javonte Johnson only played 5 minutes, the Lobo transfer, right, on that team. I mean, remember when he left, a lot of people were upset, and that's where he went. He only played 5 minutes. He's a role player on that team, if that. But his high school teammate, Nick Clifford, who came over from Colorado, I thought was terrific defensively, and he had a double-double, 12 points and 10 rebounds. That was a great get for them.
Absolutely. Colorado is a really efficient offense.
Colorado State
is a really efficient offense. You knew at home, I thought Lobos' first 9.5 minutes were good defensively. Yeah. It was coming, and they were going to find ways to be consistent themselves, and they were absolutely that. You look at 54% shooting for the Rams in the second half.
All right, let's go. 505-246-0610. What says you? Art, get us started this morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Art.
Good morning, my friend. Yeah, I thought at first they kind of gave right jab, kind of gave Carlos a little come on, but then after that, what I saw was a lot of what I call hero ball. As you said, selling for bad shots, not really trying to work it, not seeing how Colorado State passed the ball to one another. It wasn't, but I'm going to get mine, screw you. But, Pino needs to get them on that fifth line for 8 hours a day or something, because it would have been a little bit better showing if they would have made the two throws. But the guys that think that they're NBA level, they're nothing. They ain't nothing. I think this trying one-hand pass, fancy passes, not take care of the ball, that's baloney and sugar. They're not there yet, and they need to realize that the fresh clippings ain't all that in a bag of chips. And I'll listen up. Thank you,
thanks.
Jeff.
All right, I would say they're more than nothing. Are they pros? Are they NBA guys? I mean, like last night was humbling, right? Last night you ran up against a team and you heard all about how good their backcourt was. You heard how good Stevens was, and look, I don't know that he put on an All-America performance last night. I thought he was really good. He was 5 of 10 from the field. Was Isaiah Stevens? He had 18 points. He had 8 assists. He turned the ball over 3. He was good. He to me was he the best player on the floor? Yeah, probably. Isaiah Stevens last night. It felt to me like he could get what he wanted when he wanted to get it. I thought Cartier was terrific, but was he better than everybody else? When we come back, I want to get into the numbers because there's some encouraging stuff on it. But Art says they're not nothing. I would tell you, look, Lobos had an off night. Are we concerned about Jamal Mashburn's shooting offense? Just his numbers, or is this he's going to get back into the flow after being out for a while?
he's got to get back into the flow, because what you saw in the second half is the thing to focus on for a shooter. Because Jamal Mashburn was 4-7 from the field in the second half, hit some tough shots. He's a tough shot maker. And this is one of the things, I know we've talked about it for multiple years. Basketball, you're not getting a great possession every time. Jalen House, Jamal Mashburn Jr., they're players that are going to take some tough shots. But when they're missing those tough shots, you're going to get extra frustration, because then people are going to have those comments of, oh, who do these people think they are? And, oh, you want to be an NBA guard, you don't play like this yet. But the second half, Jamal Mashburn going 4 for 7, sometimes that's all it takes. It's just that moment for a shooter.
All right, when we come back, and we're open for you today at 505-246-0610. What were your thoughts on the Lobos' conference opening loss in Fort Collins last night? The final was 76-68. I do have some numbers for you that are encouraging. And it should make you just say, all right, it was one game, and the situation last night didn't play well. I'll give you some numbers that may make you feel better. It's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
How wrestling really works and how you get the...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready.
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated,
Rip,
plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this,
You shouldn't be driving.
For 50 years,
Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Santa Paws has left thousands of holiday gifts for your furry, scaly, and winged family members. Pick up a gift for a pet lover or even a new pet. Clark's has shelves full of pet beds, sweaters, toys and treats, habitats and tanks galore. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's is celebrating 50 years. Thanks to you, the Christmas Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
To 0-1 in conference play, the Rams go to 1-0. But if you're looking and you watch the game and you're frustrated, and I get it, because one team looked better than the other, and Colorado State certainly was that team. But let me give you something, and I'm going to credit Jeff Grammer for doing the math on this. But I think, JJ, would you agree with me? One of, if not the key to the game, was Jalen House's foul trouble.
Yes. Yes, but him not being on the floor is a problem.
Right. Okay. What else would you say was the key to the game?
They played the first 7 minutes or close to the first 7 minutes of the second half with Jalen House on the bench with 3 fouls.
And then he went in and hit a couple of shots in the second half and picked up his fourth and didn't want to come out of the game, and I don't blame him. But Richard Pitino had to take him out. All right. So I'm going to give you some numbers, and I don't like overwhelming you with stats. Okay. But bear with me on some bare minimum stuff. You know that Jalen House missed the beginning of the season with an injury. You know that Jamal Mashburn Jr. was out with the thumb injury, and you know that Donovan Dent, their other guy, how do you say it? The third guard, the other piece of the trio?
Starting point guard?
Yeah, right? He was out as well. So Jeff Grammer did some math. And there were, in non-conference games, that was before last night, in the 13 games, there's 520 minutes of game action. Mashburn, Dent, and House, your starting guards yesterday, and what you hope would be your starting guards every night that you go on the floor, had played a grand total together of 8 minutes and 23 seconds. Okay? What do you think about that? Grammer did the math. It's 1.6% of the season. And that's because somebody was hurt all the time or out all the time or whatever it was. Okay? Last night, because of House's foul trouble, they played 12 and a half minutes together, 12:35, which is more than they had played all year. Okay? Now, in that 12 minutes and 35 seconds, JJ, they were plus 13. They outscored Colorado State 35-22. In fact, when you put the whole starting lineup together, New Mexico outscored Colorado State by 11. When UNM starters were on the floor, and it was only 9 minutes and 50 seconds, that's including Nelly Jr. Joseph and JT Toppin, they outscored Colorado State by 11 points. Okay? So, look, I'm not by any means going to sit here and tell you that Lobo should have won that game last night. Colorado State was better last night and beat New Mexico. But if you're looking for something to make you feel better, House is not going to be in foul trouble every night, I don't think. And when he was on the floor, they were really good. When the three of them were together, they outscored Colorado State 35-22. And when the starting lineup was together, they outscored them by 11 points. What that tells me is on a normal night when House is not in foul trouble like he was, when the three of them get to play together, let's just say, 24 minutes together with guys taking breaks, they're going to be pretty good.
I agree with that. And that's why frustrated but not thrown in the towel by any means. It's game one. And this league at the top is going to be very competitive. And there are going to be a couple moments for the Lobos that might be eye-opening because of that non-conference schedule. Yeah, you won 11 games in a row, but your non-conference schedule is floating around 200. You're going to have hit some bumps in the road. And it really does come down to foul trouble, those guys on the floor together at the same time. Because I think offensively, they're going to be fine. They're going to execute better. And defensively, I like the ceiling this team has. So everything you laid out, what Jeff Grammer did in his empty in the notebook column, is right on these three. The expectations are so high that there's just a feeling that you put these guys on the court, then it's going to be fine. It's going to work each other out. But it's different when maybe they're on the court working through some things versus off the court because of foul.
You say ceiling, and I think that's where most people are. All right, so you walk out of that going, it sounds like you feel a lot, and we're going to hear some from Richard Pitino. I think at some point we'll break down some of what he had to say in the postgame. But it feels like you're where Richard was. One game, we're still trying to get these guys together. We're going to be okay. Now, look, at some point you're going to figure it out, and you're going to start saying, all right, you got to start winning games, right? In the league schedule. Your next few. You get Wyoming at home, you figure you should win that, right? You should? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you should. They beat San Jose State last night. Then you got to go to Vegas. It's never easy next Tuesday. And then the Aztecs come to town next Saturday. And then Utah State comes to town. So 2 of your next 4 are against a couple of the big boys in this league, and they're both in the pit.
I think there's, however you want to phrase it, should win, going to be a tough game. No, if you want to win the Mountain West Conference,
you better win that.
You have to win those games out. I'm talking, Wyoming,
San Jose State,
and then the tough ones with trying to hold serve too. When Nevada comes in, Utah State, San Diego State.
Here's the other thing: your home games, against the big boys, San Diego State and Utah State are early. It's January 13th and 16th, right? They're early, and then Nevada comes in 2 weeks later. So I mean, your
January's stacked.
Stacked at home. January stacked at home because you look later in the season on the road when you get a stretch of at Nevada, at San Diego State, Colorado State at home. I mean, those 3, boom, 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 and then you end up in Logan where, I mean, we see every year how hard it is to win up in the D. Glenn Coliseum. Is that what they call it?
The Spectrum.
The D. Glenn Spectrum. That's what it is.
With the seats from the 1970s.
They are kind of cool to look at, though. I'm not going to lie. And it is a great atmosphere up there. I mean, it is. It is. But yeah, you feel a little urgency, don't you? You feel a little urgency to get that group gelling and getting them going. 505-246-0610. We're here for you if you want to get in on it. So when you look at the numbers that Jeff broke down, does it make you feel, I don't know, better thinking House is going to be on the floor? Like last night was an anomaly because of foul trouble. They didn't get to play together.
Yeah, I am not worried about these guys coexisting on the floor, offensively or defensively. Because I think with what JT Toppin and LA Junior Joseph bring in the front court changes what this team does on the perimeter defense.
All right. Elsewhere last night, opening night, conference play, Mountain West basketball on the men's side. Utah State was a winner at over Air Force, 80-60. Wyoming held off San Jose State 75-73. UNLV played a non-conference game last night. They beat Bethesda. What's 56-56 at 112? Yeah, they doubled them. 112-56. Tonight on FS1, late game, you get Fresno State and San Diego State. And then Saturday in the pit, 8 o'clock, CBS Sportsnet, and over on News Radio KKOB, Wyoming will be in the pit to play New Mexico. So big one last night. We'll get more into it later. We'll hear more from Richard Pitino, or we'll hear from Richard Pitino what he had to say after the game, and certainly your thoughts on it. But you're welcome to get in at 505-246-0610, area code 505-246-0610, and don't forget after the games. Yeah, you and Kenny Thomas, you took a bunch of phone calls, huh? People kind of back into that?
Yeah, the passion, the excitement, the energy is there. KT's excited to do it. He'll be rocking most of the season with Brandon Ortega. They'll be holding it down on News Radio KKOB for you.
He'll be with us on every Tuesday and Friday at 8 o'clock.
Still here with us Tuesday and Friday.
9 o'clock. Elsewhere in the top 25 last night, no upsets last night. Everybody held serve. Baylor was a winner at home over. They played Cornell last night? Yeah, they did play Cornell last night. Purdue is really good. Zach Edey's really good. He had 23. They beat Maryland. UConn over DePaul. UConn's ranked 4th in the country, quietly defending champs, just really good again. They lose a bunch of the NBA. They continue to be really good. Tennessee beat Norfolk State. North Carolina over Pittsburgh. Illinois beat Northwestern. Illinois is ranked 9th in the country. Duke by 20 over Syracuse. FAU was down early. The 17th ranked Owls beat East Carolina 79-64. Wisconsin was a winner over Iowa, and Auburn over Penn, and now everybody's going to get into conference play, and here we go. Did you, by the way, you see Caitlin Clark, a game-winning three from the logo for Iowa last night? I mean, whether you watch women's basketball or not, and JJ, you watch a lot of women's basketball as the voice of the Lobo women, Caitlin Clark in a tie game, the young lady from Iowa who's just terrific, stepped back onto the logo and hit about a 38-footer at the buzzer for Iowa to beat Michigan State. If anybody doubts if she's any good, I want you to go take a look at it, and it's as good as, oh yeah, it's women's basketball, whatever it is you think. I mean, that was buckets.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar in sports. Now, a lot of people might have heard the name, but not realize just how good she is. And everyone associated with basketball knows who she is.
This is unbelievable. I just watched it 3-4 times again. I can't. And she steps back on the logo, and boy, do they love her in Iowa. You're like, Caitlin Clark, why do I know the name? She's the one, was it Reese from LSU? Is it Gabby?
Angel Reese?
Angel Reese. Yeah. Angel Reese is the one in the national championship last year. Put her hand up in front of her face, the whole thing. That's how a lot of people were introduced to Caitlin Clark. You watched her at all, dude? Do you get a look? I mean, what she does, there's a reason to watch a women's game if you don't watch women's basketball, just to watch her play.
Absolutely. She's basketball. If you really like pure basketball, the Iowa Hawkeyes women's team is unreal. So, yeah, no, if you're not watching, you're definitely missing out.
Yeah. All right, when we get back, let's get into the NFL a little bit. A really, really, really good running back of this generation was released. The Cowboys are looking for help on the offensive line. They're looking to a former first-round pick. And Coach says, absolutely, I'll be back. Why would you even think I'm going to retire? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football, and Super Bowl 58.
Gibson Boulevard has...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plaster, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this,
You shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like and shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Santa Paws has left thousands of holiday gifts for your furry, scaly, and winged family members. Pick up a gift for a pet lover or even a new pet. Clark's has shelves full of pet beds, sweaters, toys and treats, habitats and tanks galore. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's is celebrating 50 years. Thanks to you, the Christmas Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area.
Yesterday, JB Long is the voice of the Rams and the host of the Coaches Show, and JB Long told him, "Hey, you're now second on the Rams all-time win list, and you're tied with Chuck Knox. And I mean, he's only 6 wins behind John Robinson to become the winningest coach in the history of the Rams." And JB said, he asked, "How close am I?" And JB said, "Well, I mean, it's achievable if you're around next year. If there's going to be a Sean McVay show next year, Coach McVay show." He's like, "I promise you there'll be a Coach McVay show." I know people are losing their minds. He's 38 years old. I mean, we'd all love to retire at 38, dude. It'd be wonderful. I don't think he brought this on himself. Now, last year, people got tired of, is he really going to retire? Why do I listen to this? He's stealing the headlines. He answered a question. Do you put this one on him? Because I don't. That he brought it up. When they're losing, he wants to retire. When they're winning, I'll be back. I'll be back. It's great. I listened to some of that yesterday and then again this morning, and I'm like, you know what? What do you want him to say at that point? Like, he answered a question.
Yeah, anytime something gets out there, it's always going to be simmering. It will always be in the back of everyone's mind. If you hinted at retirement or stepping away, then you're always going to be asked that question, or somehow come back to it towards the end of the season.
Yeah, what do you want him to say?
In the context of that conversation, like, he was just chatting with his buddy. It doesn't feel like anyone was prying for information. It didn't feel forced. I don't really make a lot of it.
Headline, he'll be back.
Exactly. He'll be back. Coach under contract is coming back.
How about that? A playoff coach under contract who's won a Super Bowl is coming back. Who's 38 years old. All right, there you go.
That's the most mind-blowing part of it, is that he's under 40 and he's got one Super Bowl win, one Super Bowl loss, and he's talking retirement.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Be good living, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I mean, if you want it to be.
Yes.
If you want it to be. All right, Lobos lose last night up in Fort Collins, 76-68. Jeffrey, you want to talk about that? Good morning, Jeffrey.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. What's happening?
How you doing? You guys good?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
No, not much, man. I was watching the game last night. I really think that obviously they need to take some corrective action for the free throw situation, because that seems like it's been kind of under the microscope for a while, and they don't seem to be getting much better at it. But I just from watching the last couple of years with Jalen House, it seems like he gets really pumped for these big games, and I think a lot of teams can figure on him being somewhat aggressive, and I think they find ways to use his aggressiveness against him. And I'm not sure what the answer to that is, because obviously he's a high level competitor, but I think there's got to be a way to kind of keep the I'll call it aggressiveness, whatever you want to call it, aggressiveness in somewhat check, because he goes out there and tries to do a lot. And I mean, he didn't even play an entire half of basketball last night, and in 4 minutes picked up 2 fouls. I think he came in the second half. And at one point, I was looking at the stats. I'm like, wow, he's only played 11 minutes this game. And when he's in and when he kind of gets a rhythm and settles down, he does okay. But other than that, I think the team's going to be fine. I think the stat you mentioned where the 3 guards have played together is really a big deal. Need to find their rhythm, keep them on the floor together, and then just win the games we need to win, and win these comebacks at home, and let's just take care of business that way. It was a really strong team last night. Hadn't seen Colorado State play live, but I was actually really impressed with their front court. So they did good, and we got to take it back home.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. It's a good call. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Yep.
And I think his point is right. And this is where many Lobo fans are like, all right, it's one game, disappointing one, right? I think you really wanted to get off to a big start. You had an opportunity here. If the Lobos would have won last night, they'd probably, and hold serve on Saturday, they'd have been in the rankings on Monday, right?
Yeah, they'd probably be a top 25 team.
Yeah.
But this is one where the conversation as a fan, you don't want to acknowledge how good Colorado State is. But right now, for Lobo basketball, it's explaining it. It's not excusing it. If we're still having this conversation by the end of January, then it's a bunch of excuses for this basketball team.
If we're having this conversation by the end of January,
we're
talking about 3 days in Vegas.
Yes. But right now, it's an explanation, because Colorado State should win that game at home. But the frustration is you didn't give yourself a chance.
I think that's right. No, I think that's right. And to his point on House, do you think House – I looked at some of the fouls last night. I mean, boy, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he got robbed, he got hosed. I mean, he's got to be careful. He's got to be careful the way he plays. And he doesn't play a careful game, nor do you want him to, right? Yeah. So keeping him on the floor. Now, I don't think there's an epidemic of him getting in foul trouble in big games. It happened last night, right? Now, if he starts every game, it's emotion and there's too much. Jalen House is driven on emotion. Jalen House is a special player who some of you love and some of you don't. But I will go back to this again. Jalen House is as dynamic a player as the Lobos have had in the last decade to decade and a half. He's a special player that makes them better. And you can tell me, oh, you have Denton Mashburn. No, you saw that last night. And then you saw what happens when you have the three of them in there, and you saw what it means. Jalen House is terrific. So is Dent. So is Mashburn. Right? But the emotion, I don't know that I think he's an out-of-control player, JJ. I think he's an incredibly emotional player. Jeffrey just said, the caller said that other teams use his emotion. I don't know if he said against him, but to their advantage. I don't know if I buy that. The crowds do, which is what he loves.
Well, when you see a game like last night, it's easy to say.
Sure.
But overall, I'm Team Jalen House. Like, the dude's a good basketball player. If you watch enough basketball, which this audience has, this is a basketball state, but there's, even with watching the amount of basketball, people get frustrated with guard play at every level. Sometimes guards are going to take bad shots. Sometimes guards are going to try to do a little too much because they have the ball in their hand all the time, so their possessions are magnified.
And sometimes guards step back to the logo and hit a shot at the buzzer and win, right? And when he does that, you think it's terrific. And it is. And it is. All right, keep them coming at 505-246-0610. When we come back, DC pulled some clarity on the Russell Wilson situation. Ian Rappaport, one of the more respected NFL writers, wouldn't you say? Right? Put out a little bit of a clarification on what happened behind the scenes. Was Russ threatened? Was he, whatever the word you want to use, what Ian Rappaport believes, and he's usually pretty good, what he's discovered happened between the Broncos and Russ and where it stands now, and what you think after I explain it to you. It's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football and the Super Bowl.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this,
you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom. Boom.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like me, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Santa Paws has left thousands of holiday gifts for your furry, scaly, and winged family members. Pick up a gift for a pet lover or even a new pet. Clark's has shelves full of pet beds, sweaters, toys and treats, habitats and tanks galore. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for
Sports Animal. All right, we're going into the final week of the NFL's regular season. So next Monday is that holiday that is Black Monday, right? I mean, when coaches get fired. You see Adam Schefter on, he was on with McAfee, I think, yesterday. And, you know, Schefter went to Michigan. He's a Michigan man. You know that, right? And Monday, of course, is the college football championship. Michigan will play Washington in Houston. And so they were on him. I mean, like, if your alma mater was in playing for a national championship, you would try to go, right? And certainly if you're in a position like that, you would try to go, right? Like, I mean, when my alma mater was in the Final Four last year, I found a way to get there, right? I mean, you figure that out. Shefty's like, yeah, I'm trying to go, but Monday, the Monday following the last, right? I mean, it's kind of a busy day for me. He was literally trying to figure it out. He's like, I mean, can I use your guys' set? And they're like, yeah, Mac, yeah. I mean, come on our set. You could break all your news on our, right? It's you got to think ahead. You got to plan ahead. So next Monday, what are we expecting? Like if I gave you an over/under number, what would make you think 5.5 more openings? You already got one. Is there only one?
2.
What's the second?
Carolina and
Chargers and Carolina. All right. So if I gave over/under at 5.5 total. By next Tuesday night, open jobs in the NFL.
Are we counting the Raiders?
Raiders are 3.
Okay, so the Raiders are 3. I believe Washington will be open. Don't you?
Yes.
It seems like it's going that way.
What else am I looking at? I mean, I think Pittsburgh, I think Mike Tomlin's done enough that he's staying. Belichick?
That's a great question. I heard someone throwing around him in Philly.
I've heard him in a lot of places, man. I've heard him in Vegas. I've heard him in Washington. I've heard him in a lot of places.
He's the top prize of the coaching
Is he?
carousel. I would think so. I mean, there's a reason he gets connected with every single job.
So we got 3 open now. We figure Washington might come open. Where else am I looking? Eberflus kind of feels like he saved his job in Chicago.
That's the report.
New Orleans?
That's a really good question. If they don't make the playoffs, I think that's one that wouldn't surprise me if we heard that they made a move.
What about Todd Bowles in Tampa Bay? Do they have to win and get in the playoffs to keep his job?
I think they probably did enough over December.
He's done a pretty good job with Baker Mayfield, hasn't he?
He has. They've looked good in December. I think he's probably safe.
I mean, I don't know where else I'm looking.
One to me, and I've compared it to the Golden State Warriors. It would be Sean McDermott in Buffalo.
If they
don't win or if they lose their first somehow game in the playoffs, because right now the scenario for the Buffalo Bills is they could be looking at you win, yeah, you're a division winner, you're hosting a playoff game, or if things break early in Sunday, you lose to Dolphins, you're out of the playoffs completely.
Yeah. I think if they miss the playoffs with that team, I can see him being out.
And that what I'm referring to is, you know, Mark Jackson, it was good. They were winning games, they were building in Golden State, and they're like, not good enough. And here comes Steve Kerr.
And he walked in and won his first year. And, I mean, is that a young coach? Like, who am I looking at? The offensive coordinator from Detroit is like the biggest coordinator name. Johnson.
Yeah.
Right. He's the biggest coordinator name out there. The newest Sean McVay, the latest Wunder kid. Harbaugh. His name is attached to every job. Right. Belichick, if he wants one, is going to get one, isn't he?
And that's why I don't see, as frustrated as owners get, I don't see Robert Kraft doing that right now.
Okay. Do the Raiders stay with Antonio Pierce? I think they do. The only way they don't is if Belichick's available and Mark Davis gets enamored by the whole thing.
What happened when they didn't stick with Rich Bisaccia?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I mean, they played better. The players seem to love them. I mean, look, they're running out Aiden O'Connell.
Their choice.
That is their choice. Because their choice would be Jim Garoppolo, right? And they've decided he's not very good. By the way, he's fallen off the map completely. So I think they keep him. I do. I think the Buffalo one is really intriguing. I think Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin saved his job. I think Ron Rivera's in trouble. I just look around. I mean, where else do I think there's going to be moves?
The challenge.
What about Atlanta? What about Atlanta?
Arthur Smith, yeah. I think that's Atlanta and New Orleans. I think you could have two unsettled organizations just being frustrated in the lack of development. It'll be interesting the way Derek Carr's played the last month, which is actually good. Does that factor in at all for Dennis Allen, who it's incredibly average or below average? If you look at his just coaching record.
Kind of like Derek Carr's been.
NFL head coach. Because the thing with the New England Patriots right now, their challenge is Bill Belichick isn't giving up power, but I think he should give up power.
And so that's from him.
Where, Bill Belichick can still coach football.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's doing.
Promise you.
But it's been the offensive side, the regression of Mac Jones, and never finding offensive talent to go around him over the last couple of years. That's a problem.
All right, so we'll watch for that. The rumors are going to start swirling. I mean, if they're not already.
I've got one for you.
Yeah.
Speaking of rumors, this is one I heard this morning, and it kind of goes to what JJ was saying with the Warriors, that they're good, they're winning games even in the playoffs, but they made the move to get great. What if Philly flames out early? Because I know Philly fans are starting to turn on Sirianni. Could you see them making a move?
I mean, I can see anything at this point, right? I mean, McCarthy, if they lose early, McCarthy, right? What are the Cowboys going to do? Right? I can see anything happening.
That's just, and to me, that one is wild. Like, how did you end your season last
year? In the Super Bowl.
You're an 11-win team right now.
Yeah. No, I would be surprised, but I think I can see anything happen.
And see your point, though, DC, you look at the Sirianni conversation, both their coordinators became head coaches. Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen.
Yep.
And even if you're good, you're going to take a little bit of a hit. And so if you're frustrated in your down years, sitting there 11-5, essentially 12-win season going into the playoffs, I think that's the wrong direction to go as a franchise. If you're going, we're never firing our coach.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I wouldn't fire him, but I don't know what's going on internally there. I'd be surprised, not stunned. Nothing. I don't think any of it's going to stun me. I want to hit this because I teased this. So the Russell Wilson situation. We got into this yesterday. And DC, you said he was never threatened. That they had a conversation, or maybe he wasn't threatened. And I'm struggling a little bit splitting the hairs there. And I don't know what a threat is as opposed to a conversation. And do both people have to be speaking to have a conversation? This is via Ian Rappaport. Who's he with now? Is it NFL Network? NFL? Who's he with?
NFL Network.
Okay. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. This is his tweet or his
tweet.
Okay.
Or X.
This is his X, not his XX. But I mean, this. All right. It says last summer and again in October during the team's bye week, Broncos general manager George Patton discussed with the quarterback's longtime agent Mark Rodgers potentially altering Russell Wilson's contract, pushing back the early vesting date of 2025 injury guarantees. So as it stands now, the $37 million injury guarantee in 2025 would become fully guaranteed in March of this year, 2024, in 2 months. Patton figured that moving the date back to the start of league year 2025 would increase the viability, both short-term and long-term, that Wilson would be around, since it would eliminate the need for the Broncos to make a 2-year decision on him within the next couple of months, drastically raising the chances of him being a Bronco in 2024. Russell Wilson viewed that as a threat to be benched, as he said this week. Ultimately, he was not benched until 7 weeks later, with the Broncos ranking 25th in offense, their playoff hopes shrinking after a 42-17 loss to the Lions, followed by a 26-23 defeat at home to the lowly Patriots on national TV on Christmas Eve. As many agents do amid negotiations, Rodgers, the agent, took the Broncos' proposal to the NFL Players Association, which often consults with agents on big money player contracts. The union did not view any threat of benching as a real threat, and Wilson turned down the Broncos' offer, which is right. No grievance was filed, and it's unlikely one will be. One source called such negotiations commonplace. That was the tweet or the X from Ian Rappaport. So basically, they opened dialogue. How about that? Can we use that word?
Yeah.
If it goes one way, there's dialogue. Mm-hmm. I don't know that there was conversation. Conversation to me means, well, yeah, let's have, or, DC, you came in, we were talking off the air. You said negotiation. To me, negotiations, we're going back and forth. If you come to me and say, hey, let's push back your injury guarantee, and I say, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Well, I mean, let's talk about no. What'd you garner from that? That they came to him? I mean, what's the bottom line of that to you?
I mean, in the first line, it says they had a discussion, which would be a two-way conversation. I think it's really,
it says George Patton discussed with the agent. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's really soft of Russell Wilson to come out and say he was threatened. And good luck to you on the way out, man.
Well, it's kind of on brand, is it not?
Oh, it's totally on brand.
So you dislike Russell Wilson more than you liked him or disliked him before. You're a Bronco guy. You're siding with the club on this. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Where are you?
We don't have time to get into that.
All right, I want to do it on the other side because the show before us, the national show, was saying Russell Wilson was done dirty, and no matter what you think of Russell Wilson, he was done dirty. What do you think of that? Bronco fan, where are you after hearing that? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football, and Super Bowl 58.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
so that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Of the year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
All right, interesting Wednesday morning here on the OD and the AM. The OD and the AM. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, DC. Glad you're with us. Your phones are calling ours, and they're ringing now at 505-246-0610. That's how to get in. Lobos lose last night. Conference opener up in Fort Collins, 76-68 to Colorado State, the 13th ranked team in the country. The Lobo 11-game win streak comes to an end. Jalen House only played 18 minutes because of foul trouble. He had 14 points. Lobos 4 of 11 from the free throw line and got out-rebounded and struggled and just got beat by a team that's really good last night. And we'll hear a little bit of Richard Pitino's postgame coming up in a little bit. 505-246-0610 if you want to get in, you can do that. I want to finish up this thought on Russell Wilson, and then we'll go to the phones. So, if you weren't with us a few minutes ago, originally Ian Rappaport's from NFL Network's synopsis of what went down with Russell Wilson, and evidently the GM of the Broncos went to Russ's agent back in October. Actually, during the summer and then in October, and basically wanted to extend the injury guarantees. And Russ and his agent said no. And they took it to the NFLPA. The NFLPA said it's not really a threat. Russ went to the media the other day, said, well, they threatened me. They told me they'd bench me if I didn't waive the guarantee. DC, you're saying it's on Russ that it's pretty soft of him to go to the media. Where are you on this? Because, I mean, that's your team also, right?
Well, I do appreciate the conversation because I was really on Russell Wilson's side last week because the thing to me wasn't about not playing Russell Wilson. It was, if this did occur, that's the path of a bad franchise. And guess what? The Broncos have been a bad franchise.
If what did occur?
If they went to a player and said, bro, you play in the NFL, but we don't like this injury guarantee, and you need to get rid of it and or move it, which
they kind of did. That's what they did, right?
Well, apparently, at this point, I don't know if it was a threat, because my whole thing was threatening to bench a player for not waiving or moving an injury guarantee. Now, where I'm a little confused is if they moved it to 2025 and then he gets hurt now, do they just not owe him money? Is that what they were trying to do? What was the point of moving it?
Yeah, so he's guaranteed, 35, 34 next year. And I guess the whole point is if he would get hurt, there would be, and he didn't pass physical in March, there's another 35 on top of that, so they'd owe him $70 million to get rid of him, and now they can get rid of him at 34? That's the way I understand this.
So essentially with the injury, it fully guarantees both those years.
And if they cut him after the season, they only have to give him, $35 million instead of $70 million.
Right. And you know what?
It increases the cap.
That doesn't make it sound better to me. To tell a player, hey, if you get hurt, we're not going to pay you. Because we want to save our backside.
I get the
Broncos made a mistake.
Yeah, well, when they signed the contract, they made a mistake.
But they went all in on Russell Wilson. Now they're trying to back out of it. And there's certain things that if you want to cut Russell Wilson, you got to eat that money. But I think going down the route of the injury guarantee is a bad look for a franchise because of what these guys do for their bodies. And I get it. People don't care about athletes. They don't. They like to be entertained by them, but they're like, you make millions of dollars. I could care less if you have concussions or your knee blows up. But to go to an athlete and be like, you know what, we would like this whole injury stuff to be pushed, so if you get hurt, we don't get in trouble.
And we can cut you.
I don't like that as a franchise. Cut him. But trying to move injury guarantees, that does not sit well.
And your issue is that Russ went public with it, not that the team went to him?
Yes, because I don't know what the team went to him with. We're seeing this about there's more to it than that. It wasn't just the injury clause.
Sure.
So we don't know the details of that. The only thing I know for sure is Russell came out and decided he needed to air this out. And I'm not, that's not a championship quarterback. You don't do that.
No,
his coach has been airing him out the entire season.
It's not wrong.
It's
not wrong.
I'm not defending his coach either. And really the conversation is George Paton. He was brought in to sell a team. He did that. Now he's trying to run the team, and he's not doing very good.
Well, look, I've always got a problem with teams, players, coaches, whoever, airing their grievances through the media. We all want to know everything, and that's why we're so passionate. We all want to know. But we don't have a right to know. And I'm sure Russ is an ego thing, why he was benched, how to explain it and make himself. Russ always feels like he's the good guy, right? Russ is he's the good guy. And how to show that he's the good guy here. It's on brand for everybody, by the way. It's on brand for the franchise, which made a mistake and feels to me like they're making another mistake, right? But a business decision, look, it's not a horrible business move for them to go to the player and say, hey, would you be willing to push this injury clause back? And that would guarantee him the next year, right? That would guarantee that he would still be there, that they wouldn't cut him, right?
It seemed that was part of it, is that a long-term future with the team was something they were trying to achieve, potentially. Yeah. I mean, assuming the play was there.
It's tangled, man. It's tangled. Edward, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Edward.
Merry New Year, gentlemen. It's good to hear your voices. Hope 2024 is the greatest year ever for us. A couple of thoughts on the NFL, and then I want to talk about the Lobos. So, Lamar Jackson, 26 years old, 70% winning percentage in the NFL in his career, which is third all-time in the modern era of football behind the greatest player in the history of the game, Thomas Edward Brady, and Patrick Mahomes. You could throw an autogram and Darryl LaMonica in there as well, pre-modern era football. 26 years old, he's going to become the 11th quarterback in the NFL history to win multiple MVPs. He's amazing.
That's good.
And I'm here for it, right? When my son was screaming at the television for the Patriots to use one of their first-round picks to draft him, and they moved and they passed on him, and I hope he wins the Super Bowl. Quite honestly, I think it'd be great for the NFL, and he's a very likable guy. Buffalo Bills, their playoffs start this weekend.
No doubt.
Right? They're playing at Miami. I think they're going to win, actually, and they're going to finish with a 2 seed. If they lose, they need both either the Steelers or the Jaguars to lose to get in. So you got to control your own destiny. Therefore, the playoffs start for them this weekend. NFL and the Cowboys-Lions game, I think the officials obviously messed the call up. I think they're asking the officials to process too much information. They're processing player safety. Is there 2 steps and did the quarterback get drilled? Situations in the games. They're overwhelmed, and you could tell that was a function of the guy being overwhelmed. And he made a bad call. Just own it, right? Just own it and move forward. The Lobos, I'm not a Lobo content expert. I think, obviously, they have some good guard play, some really good guard play. I was at a friend's house last night watching the game, and it was muted. And I watched about 5-10 minutes of the game. Every possession that Colorado State had was they got a layup, a point-blank layup, either by going to the block and the guy pump faking and getting an easy layup, or the guard penetrating, right? And it's well documented. I don't watch their games. They've played what I consider two good teams this year, St. Mary's and last night, and they got handled, right? It doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't mean they can't make progress, but they got handled. Offensively, they have no threat in the post. So their offense is essentially, can their guards break guys down and take a contested jumper, right? Or can they get to the basket? And I just don't know if that's a recipe for success long term. But I do think that if they put things together, they could potentially make the NCAA tournament, which is the first appearance in over a decade. So that should probably be the goal in my
That is
opinion.
the goal right now. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
No, appreciate
Hey,
you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
A couple things. Let's start backwards. Post threat. It's not a horrible observation. They're not getting a lot out of the post. Nelly missed at the rim quite a bit. Do you feel that's a deficiency for Lobo basketball? Just their post scoring and being able. They play three guards. Obviously, that's where a lot of their scoring is coming from. And Toppin had 17 last night. So the freshman is a post threat for them. They do have a young threat there.
They just, to his point, they have to score differently. It's not Morris Udeze where you're dumping in and he's banging, turn around hook shot, banging, lay it in. They have to get it off the pick and roll. They don't have a traditional post-up threat. And yeah, so could that be a deficiency? Yeah, but I also like the fact, though, that they should be and will be better defensively with these guys in the post.
I think
so. It's kind of like the give and take of that, because I think if you run the pick and roll, you're cutting, you're doing everything you need to do. Like, you can score inside. It's just not the dump it down and the guy's going to go to work by himself.
Okay. He brought up some on officials that I've been saying for years. There's only so much people can process, and we keep throwing more and more stuff for NFL officials to look at. Head to head contact, leading with your head, launching, hitting below the knees, hitting above the neck, hitting like. I don't know what the answer is. The game was never easy to officiate, and each year you throw more and more at them. And I'll include the NBA in this too, JJ. Games are harder to officiate. I've been saying this for years. At some point, what's the guy looking at? Who's he looking at? What's he looking for? And I know they have emphasis on whatever, right? Whatever this year's emphasis is for NFL officials. I think they've made the game so complicated, to watch. I mean, we used to be able to watch games without NFL rules analysts. Now you can't watch one without one. I mean, I don't know if you watched the post game after the Lions-Cowboys game Saturday night on ESPN. But the star of the post game was Van Pelt and the NFL rules analyst trying to explain how to report, right? I mean, it's commonplace. I've got my play-by-play and my analyst and my sideline reporter, and I got my rules analyst now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how you reel that back in, but I think he's right, man. I think they've overwhelmed. I think it came a long time ago. I've been saying this for years. They've overwhelmed officials, and they're looking for so much. Yeah, they're going to miss stuff. Yeah. You can add another official. I don't know if that's going to help. Oh, make them full time. Is that going to help? You guys think I'm wrong on this?
I don't think you're wrong. I think it's a really good point of overwhelming officials, but it's also what you want. It's like you as a league, you've put so much into it. You're trying to clean up everything. You're trying to be as good as possible. And human beings are going to make mistakes. Now, this one was magnified in a different level, because it wasn't just, oh, was he holding? Oh, did he have intent on the inside or outside? Or when did that contact occur? It was just straight up missed communication by the referee.
Or by the player. Yeah, and we're going to get into that. I mean, look, I don't know what you're supposed to look at anymore. You know what I'm saying? I think they over-officiate at times because they're taught, told, whatever, to over-officiate games. You know, I tell you this all the time with defensive players. I don't know how you would teach a guy to play defense anymore. Your head's got to go somewhere. It's going to hit something, right? Two large, very athletic men going full speed, moving, not choreographed. Their heads are going to hit. I don't know what you do. I mean, but I think it's a great point. I've been saying that for years. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. We're going to hear a little bit from Richard Pitino. We're going to go into the red zone at some point today. And when we come back, wow. I mean, of all the things that you didn't hear someone, you didn't think would come out of someone's mouth, Rory McIlroy's take on live golfers may have just completely changed. The most vocal against the guys who go to live is softening his position. That again makes me laugh. Yeah. What Roy's now saying about guys who went to live and his position on it. It's going to really, really surprise you. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal. You're home for Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football, and the Super Bowl.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mary here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Fort Collins. After the 76-68 conference opening loss to Colorado State, Lobos are 0-1 in conference play. Will play Wyoming, who won last night. Aquel Cott hit a buzzer beater, like literally at the buzzer. Barely got it off, but hit a jump shot to beat San Jose State. So Wyoming comes in. They are 1-0 in conference play after winning their opener up in Laradice last night. 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. 888-922-0610 if you're still paying tolls. We'll pick that up for you here at the Sports Animal. All right, so we're going to start getting golf tournaments. The new season will start. You'll get those tournaments out in Hawaii. And we had John Rahm go over to LIV recently. So Rory McIlroy has been basically the face of the PGA. And the guy, what did he say? I hate LIV? How does it go again?
Hit LIV.
Hit LIV.
Hit LIV.
Hit LIV. He hates LIV. It's a 4-time major champ. And JJ, now Rory says he regrets being too quick to judge players who join LIV. And now he accepts that the Saudi-backed tour is part of golf. This is a shift now. He's been a vocal critic of everybody who went over there. It's driven a rift through golf. He accused some golfers who went over to LIV as said he'd rather retire than join LIV. That it was, all of it, right? He doesn't want to fight anymore. He doesn't want to bear the burden of being the face of the PGA anymore. Quote from Rory today. I think at this point I was maybe a little judgmental of the guys who went to LIV golf at the start. And I think it was a bit of a mistake on my part because I now realize that not everyone is in my position or in Tiger Woods' position. We all turn professional to make a living playing the sports that we do. I think that's what I realized over the last 2 years. I can't judge people for making that decision, end quote. He was on the Stick to Football podcast where he was talking about this. I think it's what a lot of people were saying from the beginning, right? I told you a long time ago, people are going to get past where this money comes from. It's still coming from the same place. It's still, if you felt it was dirty money, then it's still dirty money now, right? Athletes have a limited window in which to make a living. Golfers maybe a little longer than others, but to his point, not everybody's where him and Tiger are financially. Mm-hmm. And when Charles Schwartz was walking off with $4.75 million for winning the first LIV event in London, they're giving him $300 million or $100 million, whatever the signing bonus is, and it's absolutely life-changing. And Taylor Gooch, the overall LIV champion last year, netted around $36 million from a prize pool of $300 million. They're starting to realize what was going on. McIlroy said, I wouldn't say I've lost the fight against LIV. I've just accepted the fact that it's part of our sport now. Competition is good to help improve the sport of golf overall. The PGA Tour competing with LIV and the Saudis' money is completely unsustainable. You're never going to win a fight if you're going money for money, because we've seen that in other sports where no one is spending money like the Saudis, end quote. What do you think?
Understanding evolution, because Roy probably does have friends that went over, and he's like, well, I know these aren't bad people. And
you think he wishes he took the money?
Maybe a small part of him, but I think hearing that comment, Roy understands he's fine. Like, maybe he doesn't have the $500 million signing bonus, but it was something he believed in at the moment. And to me, this is a lot too. If I'm Rory, you changed too because the PGA changed. PGA left you out to dry. Like, they were behind you, like, yeah, Rory McIlroy, that's right. You tell those LIV scum. Where's the PGA Tour? And then we watched PGA Tour. Was like, hey, by the way, can we get a slice of this?
Right. I think it's an evolution and a maturation and realization. He said, I've come to realize that if you got people or a sovereign wealth fund spending money in your sport, ultimately it's a good thing, but you want them to spend it the right way and spend it on things that are important to the game. So instead of giving someone $100 million, why don't you put $50 million into a grassroots program for the Royal and Ancient Golf Club or the United States Golf Association so that you can help grow the game and not spend it trying to buy talent? I don't begrudge anyone for going and taking the money and doing something different, but don't try to burn the place down on your way out. I think it's just created this division that will hopefully stop soon because I think it's the best thing for golf too. End quote. It's interesting. Here, give a guy $50 million, but put another $50 million into the game.
Very measured take.
Well, look, LIV has always said, well, we're trying to do what's great for golf or whatever. No, they bought players. They bought talent. They created a new tour. They bought talent. I'll give it to Rory for this is a graceful way of him saying I lost. Don't you think? It's a graceful way of saying, you know what, I'm not fighting the fight anymore. I lost. We got to accept it. John Rahm just went over there. Dudes are going. I don't begrudge guys. I've changed my tune. I've absolutely changed my tune. And it's evolved. It's come to a point, and it's just not worth banging my head against the wall anymore.
And I think the challenge for the game of golf overall is, what does the future hold? Like, how do you still conduct your majors at the highest level when rankings are going to be all over the place? They play tournaments different. They do things different. You know, what's going to be the theme that gets golf viewers together?
Yep. All right. It's wow. I didn't expect to see that today. I didn't expect to see that from Rory, but it feels relatively great. I want to hear it instead of read it, but it feels relatively graceful. A way to say, I was wrong. All right, when we come back, what Richard Pitino had to say last night after the Lobos lose 76-68 to Colorado State. You can get in at 505-246-0610. Emails are coming in, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. I went away last week. IPS watched my home. Saw him on the cameras a number of times. Officer Crespin came by and made sure everything was good around the house. It's nice to know there's a set of eyes on the house when I'm gone. And even when I'm home, I see them come by every single day. IPS has watched my home for years. They watch businesses all around Albuquerque. You see them wherever you go. It's because they keep the bad guys away. Look, bad guys don't care about how hard you work to build whatever it is you have. They just want to take what you've got. Don't let that happen to you. Call IPS, see what they can do for you, whether it's standing guards or 24-hour patrols or vacation watch, whatever it is. IPS can set up your home or your business with the monitoring system, with cameras, with alarms. And if they see something where the alarm goes off, they're there within 7 minutes or less. And they have armed, trained security officers to make sure that everything's okay. IPS provides the manpower and the technology to protect you, your family, and your property. It's a winning combination. Call them and see what they can do for you at 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. Or go to ipsglobal.com. Passionate about making Albuquerque a better and a safer place to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Red Zone coming up at 9 o'clock. We'll get into some postseason awards of the National Football League. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, J.J. Buck, and D.C. Lobos lose last night 76-68. Conference opener up at Colorado State. And it was kind of a weird night, right? Lobos get out to a quick start. Jalen House gets in foul trouble. Only played 18 minutes last night. 14 points. JT Toppin led the Lobos with 17 points and 11 rebounds in a really nice effort. You're in on the text line at 505-246-0610. JJ text line says, Jeff, who had the better percentage last night, Mashburn shooting or the play-by-play announcer calling Jalen Eddie House? I think she was 5 for 20. Winky face, signed Murph Dog. Yeah, Jenny Kavanaugh did call Jalen Eddie a few times last night. Yeah. That certainly happened. All right. I gave you a couple of numbers, and I'll give them to you again, then we'll listen to what Richard said. Richard Pitino said it's one game, and it is. And it's one game, and I'm going to go a little bit because I think it was an anomaly in the fact that House was in foul trouble and that the starters, House, Mashburn, and Dent only played, 12 and a half minutes together, and they were plus 12 when they were all together, which makes me think that they're going to be pretty good when they play together. And I think that's going to be the way things are most of the time. 12 and a half minutes, they were plus 13. So there's something to feel better about. But foul trouble was a big part of this. And obviously, House was the story in foul trouble. Here's what Richard had to say about it.
Well, credit to Colorado State. They're a terrific team. I thought just foul trouble, it was really, really hard. They made 18 free throws to our 4, which was obviously challenging. And we didn't do a great job defensively of rebounding the ball at the beginning of the second half. I thought first half we were really good. I thought second part of the second half we were good, but didn't set the tone coming out of the locker room defensively like we needed to. So terrific team. We will humbly watch it, see where we can get better, and get ready for Saturday night.
Oh, fair enough. Specifically, though, on House, and this isn't to cast blame, dude. Sometimes guys get in foul trouble, right? But specifically last night on Jalen's foul trouble.
Yeah, it hurt. When he's on the court, we're obviously a lot better. But, he got picked up that 4th foul that really, really hurt us. So he's got to find a way to defend without foul.
Yeah, and JJ, he's a good defender. He takes the ball away. He does a lot of things. Last night in 18 minutes, he led you in steals with 2. He also led you in turnovers. He had 4 turnovers. He's all over the place. I just got a text from Dan, and Dan was talking about House, and it says House is out of control. It's just like a car or a train that's out of control. A crash is almost inevitable. Love the guy, but team effort, control, and fundamentals win games. Oh yeah, great defense. Could have and should have won that game. Announcer was correct when she said Stevens excelled when House was out. Funny game, this basketball. Go Lobos. Do you feel he's out of control, or do you? I mean,
no, I don't, man.
I don't either.
Jalen House, you got to understand, is going to be overanalyzed by this fan base because people have already made up their mind on Jalen. You're going to make some mistakes on the floor. And when you lose a game that I thought the Lobos had a chance to win, you're down by 17. That's where the mistakes are going to be amplified. The whole, Jalen House is out of control, doesn't know what he's doing. Takes are going to be more because the Lobos didn't give themselves a chance in the second half.
All right. More from Richard. Lobos did have success on the pick and roll early. And you could hear if you're watching on TV, many of you were, you could hear them talking about the Lobos on the pick and roll are having success in the paint. JT Toppin had 17 points on 8 for 14 shooting. And so Richard acknowledged they did have some success in the paint.
It wasn't by my design. I think it was just throughout the course of the game. I thought ball screens, dives to JT were really, really good. We needed to certainly get towards that basket a little bit more. So I'm not sure specifically. I can assure you it wasn't me telling them to do it.
Yeah, but it worked, right? It worked.
Yeah, it did.
And so whatever they're doing, maybe, as he said, they humbly analyzed the tape. Maybe they realize, all right, you got something there, and I'm sure they realize that. Lastly, on the lineups, and JJ, there's something about cohesion, coming together. The word chemistry is used a lot in sports, right? And you're going to say, well, Jeff, they played 13 non-conference games. That's what that's for. Right. But as I told you earlier, Donovan Dent, Jamal Mashburn, and Jalen House, your 3 sensational guards, played together for 1.8% of those 520 minutes in non-conference games, right? So there's going to be a learning curve on this cohesion thing. Do we agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Here's Richard Pitino on that lineup coming together in the time that it's going to take.
Well, I mean, it's not encouraging because we lost. I think the more time they can all work together, and this is the first game since Texas Southern. We've had everybody available, so hopefully, knock on wood, and injuries are going to happen with every team. We can continue to work on it and get better and have a little bit more chemistry moving forward.
All right. So I think there's a little. Is there a silver lining to a loss? I mean, I don't know. You lost the 13th ranked team in the country on the road, and you got handled a little bit, right? You got handled.
That's the more frustrating thing to me. Like, Colorado State should win this game.
Yeah.
However you feel like they should be favored to win this game.
They're ranked 13th
ranked team in the country.
Yeah.
That was only a 3.5 point line going in. So when you're down by 17 points with 5 minutes to go, it magnifies those issues of Jalen House getting in foul trouble. Is he doing too much. Jamal Mashburn forcing shots, which I thought he did early, but I want to see, can he build off that second half? He was 4 for 7 in the second half. And not every shot is going to be perfect. Not every offensive play you're going to execute, but you have to have better composure on the road. I think that's what this group is going to realize, is even with their high expectations, they haven't done it. They haven't done anything. And to me, moving forward, amplifying the execution, the composure on the road, I think this group is going to respond and handle that. And, they'll be tested. UNLV is not going to be an easy game for them.
Next Tuesday on the road.
But that's, of course, they get Wyoming first.
Yeah, and I think they handled Wyoming. This feels like a come-home, get-right game at the pit where they win by 16 points, right? And everybody walks out there feeling pretty good about themselves. And we'll see.
Would be a pretty good night.
Yeah, no, that feels like a pretty good night, because then next week you go to UNLV and then the Aztecs come to town on Saturday. So there's a ton going on here. When I looked at the stat sheet and I only saw 11 turnovers for New Mexico, I was surprised. Just watching the game in flow, it felt to me like there were a lot more. That makes sense?
Yeah, it was more empty possessions based on
just
shots.
Quick shots. But then I looked at the shooting percentage, and they shot almost 47%. So you look at some of the numbers, and the numbers don't always tell you the story. But I watched the game, and I watched, to me, Colorado State was better. They were. All right, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in on that. Mike, I'm gonna let Mike come in on this, because we talked about this earlier, and Mike called earlier. We didn't get him in. We're talking about the Cowboy-Lions game and the call and the officiating, and I know Mike wants to talk about that. Mike, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal.
Hey, I'll make a quick comment on that, but how many people have gone to a pro game when one of the linemen goes eligible for reception, they announce that.
Right.
It's over the PA, and I think if you listen to the replay, you can hear them announce 70. So at what point does that become the sideline's responsibility to stop the play or do something to bring attention at the wrong player?
Yeah, what do you do, though? I mean, do you have to call a timeout? How do you? I don't even know what the protocol is.
Well, I think you have to, because either A, you have to change the play, because they announced to someone that was actually covered up, and that should have been a penalty in itself. So there was really two penalties: reception of someone that wasn't eligible, and then covering up the receiver was eligible.
I think they deemed that he was not covered, that the receiver on the outside was off the line. I know that was really close, and they showed that, and that's what I think it was Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on the call, that they said initially it looked like he was covered up. I think in the post-game report, they did not mention that he was covered up. I think they deemed that he was off the line of scrimmage.
But I guess really the point is and I know it really bites because of the beautiful play, and it was designed to be deceptive. So I mean, their own deception actually created part of the
100%.
problem, which is gamesmanship.
Yep.
But I just wanted to make that point. They do announce it, and everyone in the stadium heard that number 70 was eligible for a reception. But I'm getting to the Lobos. I mean, when they started missing the free throws, I think they started panicking because they started seeing the lead that they had diminish. And there was a lot of they did try to get the ball inside a lot, and there was a lot of turnovers, bad throws. The lanes weren't open for the pass, things like that. But for all the things that the Lobos didn't do well, honestly, I think just a few things that they clean up, that game's a whole nother game. Because if you look at how that game started and how defense was, and at what point did things start to fall apart? And the last point is, it's a long season. Who's going to be healthy at the end of it? If we got a deep bench, who's going to be able to be the healthy team at the end? And, we're going to lose those road games. We just got to figure out how to win a couple of them, because that's going to be the difference in this league this year on the championship.
Good stuff, Mike. Appreciate you. Have a day. Mike called the 505-246-0610. I think he's right on the announcement. I don't know, honestly, did Detroit have another timeout to burn? I don't even know if they did. So they didn't. You're saying no. So they couldn't have called timeout. So, again, I don't know what protocol would be at that point. Does Dan Campbell run to the official and say 68 reported, not 70? And that screws up your whole play, and now everything, right? And remember, it was a 2-point conversion. Yeah, there's so much that goes into it. The NFL put out a note yesterday basically emphasizing and reminding players to clearly report Players who wear 50 to 79 or 90 to 99 must report to the referee in order to be eligible. It's the quote, it's the responsibility of the player to be sure that the change in status is clearly communicated to the referee by both physical signal with his hands up and down in front of his chest and to report to the referee his intention to report as an eligible receiver. Whatever that means. It's from Walt Anderson, the senior vice president of the NFL. I mean, I don't know if he's trying to put it all on the player. The bottom line is, doesn't it feel like there's just got to be a better way to do this? As I'm saying, we're putting more and more on the referees, but doesn't there got to be a better way to do this? A more clear way to do this?
What's clearer than walking to a referee and saying you're
I'm eligible? And it feels like that's what he did. I know. I don't know how. I mean, you're right, and he did. Did you rewatch it? Did you see where he went over to him?
I did.
You feel differently?
I wonder how that happened.
It's what we're all wondering.
So, and I guess what I'm saying with that is, if he was not clear about his intention to be a legal receiver, that is on the player, because he announced 70, and not 68. So clearly 70.
And 70 had been announced a number of times before, and so the thought is that Brad Allen thought, all right, same dudes, like they've done all day. When 68 clearly went over to him. Now, what did he say? We don't know, but I mean, why else would the guy go over there? And they all said that's what the play was. That's what I did. That we told them before the game we're going to do it. I mean, it's okay if a guy, if a guy says, look, I made a mistake. I announced the wrong guy, or I heard the wrong guy, or whatever. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear Brad Allen say, I thought I heard 70 tell me, and I missed it. Like, do you feel any better if Brad Allen said, I kind of do.
If he came out and said that, I think I would feel much better.
I do. They both came over, and I thought 70 was the one who reported, and that's what we announced. So they had an opportunity to tell us we were wrong when we announced it over the PA, but they both came over, and I thought I heard it from 70, and evidently if 68 said it, I missed it, and I made a mistake. Kind of like Rory said. I live.
That's what you have to do.
It's kind of what I wanted to hear. Yeah.
Like after this, because then you start asking questions of how can you be better? How can you do this? Like, that's simple. You walk over to a human being, say something to them. What's a better process than that of communicating?
This says, I think you guys are giving too much of a benefit of the doubt to the ref, and that he made a mistake. He did exactly what he intended to do.
Oh, so he did it on purpose?
I'm not sure.
Fix is in?
Yeah. This one says, Jenny Cavner for the win, calling out House for kicking and screaming like a toddler. Interesting. She did. When he got his fourth foul, he was sitting there, and she said, Jenny Cavner did say, and House kicking and screaming like a toddler. She did say that. All right, we're late for this break. Red Zone at 9 o'clock. I'm going to get you a bunch of your correspondence when we come back. Actually, there's a lot of good stuff in here today. 505-246-0610 is the text line, and you can send emails, Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com or JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Progressive.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Like Ensure that you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hi.
Animal.
I'm Trista Crick with BetQL. The Natty is set, and it's the Wolverines taking on the Washington Huskies for all the marbles. Here's a bet to consider. The total, 55.5. I love the over. Both teams went over.
I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I'll put it in perspective for you, though. If Bill Belichick and the Patriots lose to the Jets this weekend, Bill Belichick will tie an NFL record for the most losses ever by a head coach. Now, before you just go, he's an idiot. All right. Any idea there's two dudes who are tied for the most losses all time as a head coach. Any idea who they are? One of them's a former Bronco coach.
Dan Reeves?
That's correct. The other one's a Taft High alum. It's my high school. Played DB at the University of Southern California. You wouldn't think he coached this long. Jeff Fisher. They're both tied for 165 losses. So Belichick would get there. Do you know any idea? So before you go, that's horrible. Any idea who 4 and 5 are? And let me just give you perspective. 165 is the number for losses. Belichick's at 164. 4 and 5 have lost 162 and 156 games. Any idea?
Parcells, maybe?
No, but that's a pretty good guess. Because Parcells he's not on the list. I don't see. It's Tom Landry and Don Shula. So, I mean, and if you include playoff games, Tom Landry's got more losses than anybody else. So let's just, it's a longevity game. If you do this long enough, you're going to lose games. But I didn't know that. I thought that was something else. All right. Let me hit you some of your emails that are coming in. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. This is on the Wyoming team that's coming in here on Saturday. They won last night on a buzzer beater, beat San Jose State. It's from Carl. It says, Jeff, how weird is it going to be watching the Pokes without Hunter Maldonado? It seems like he was wearing a Wyoming uniform forever. Was there ever a bigger thorn in the side of Lobo basketball? As long as he was on the field, it didn't matter how bad they were. It seemed like Benny D's guys had a chance. It did feel like he was there for a minute, didn't it?
Yes. Fantastic point.
Yeah.
Just one of those players that was always a problem.
Yeah. Mike says this loss didn't hurt Jeff Alou. The thing that's going to kill Lobo basketball is not exerting themselves non-conference. Why are we playing Louisiana Tech, or why are we paying them $80,000 to come in here? This is the year Lobo basketball should have aggressively tested themselves and buy games away from University Arena. I'd like to hear Jerry's feelings on their schedule tomorrow and whether he feels they are at-large worthy. I would tell you he does, because CBS put up their brackets, or at least before the game last night. Well, I guess it wasn't Jerry. It was Fox that did it. So I'll ask Jerry about it. Fox had 5 teams as of now in the NCAA, and they
I can tell you Jerry's going to tell you their non-com schedule is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was ranked.
Said it before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had on his last update, December 15th, because Jerry's been a little busy doing football.
Yeah.
Lobos were first 4 out.
Is that where you had them? First 4 out?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're right on the bubble. Mike says, Scotland Part 2, question mark, Jeff Alou? Before the legislature spends a dime on University Stadium, I want to see a bank statement where Lobo Athletics has the supposed $50 million in matching funds in hand. I don't want a repeat of Scotland where there is all these commitments, but when the time comes to start boarding the flight, folks suddenly start dropping like flies. And Mike wants to see that there's $50 million in hand before the legislature gives them any money to spend on University Stadium. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to be like Scotland all over again, he says. Okay. All right. Jeff, I already hit you with this one. This one's on officiating. How we talked about officiating being overwhelmed in the National Football League. It says AI and cameras can handle all of it without bias, without mistakes, and without being overwhelmed, getting the call right every single time. Get rid of officials and go straight AI and cameras to officiate. How would that even work? I guess I don't know. I mean, I imagine it can. AI can do everything, right?
Yeah, there'd be a tracking chip in basically everything.
I guess. We're talking about Philadelphia maybe firing their coach, Sirianni. And I said I would be surprised but not stunned. This texter says Chip Kelly was there. He had 2 10-6 seasons and they gave him the boot. A lot of organizations would love to have 2 years of 10-6.
There's a lot more going on with Chip Kelly, though. They did not have franchise quarterback at that time. Run through Nick Foles, he ended up winning a Super Bowl. But he was a college coach trying to do college things in an NFL franchise.
Didn't work, did it? This one says JT Toppin might have been the best player last night. That's one impressive freshman, best since Tony Snell. You like that?
Not too bad.
All right. All right, we're going Red Zone. We come back, postseason awards with 1 week to go in the season. Little NFL Red Zone. I want to hear your thoughts on Lobos and Colorado State last night as well. But who's Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year? Going to the Red Zone next. On the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football, and the Super Bowl.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Rosendo Najar here, president of Carpenters Local 1319.
Juan Junior Gonzalez, warden of Local 1319. Some people have a misconception about what a carpenter does.
The carpentry trade entails more than just woodworking or building houses. We are responsible for 85% of a construction job site. Everything from the superintendent on down. We have a great apprenticeship program. Information can be found on our website.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
If you're
in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Wednesday before the storm. They say the storm's coming, right? Like we're going to have snow and commute issues tomorrow. Wednesday before the storm and after the Lobos get beat up in Fort Collins.
Oh, Moby.
76-68. Where's there been tougher times? Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, and DC. Clune Arena or Moby for the Lobos over the years?
It's probably more frustrating the Clune gloom.
Clune's at Air Force, for those of you who don't know. Yep.
Because usually Air Force hasn't been as good.
Yeah.
And that's a game that you're expecting.
And you get those losses, you're just going, how did that one happen, right? I mean, those are the ones that just come out of nowhere. And those are the ones that this year, because of the non-conference schedule strength, those are the ones you're just not going to be able to afford this year.
Can't happen.
Right? And you always think, all right, you're going to drop one somewhere, whether it's San Jose or Fresno or Airport, right? Those are the ones on the road this year. If you're going to get where you want to get, assuming that you don't win the conference tournament, and you might. But if you're going to be an at-large team, there's just not a lot of room to have one of those losses this year, right?
It's virtually zero, because if you're able to get a couple road wins at a Utah State, Nevada,
San Diego
State's there, because that's how you're going to win this conference. It's whoever can. If someone gets 3 of those, they're winning the conference for sure. But it feels like 2 is you're going to be on the doorstep of a regular season title. And what I'm referring to is any combination of on the road versus those 4 other teams. So if you're New Mexico versus the 4 other 4 and vice versa.
All right, we'll get back into Lobos here in a little bit. You can get in on it at 505-246-0610. But 9 o'clock, let's go into the red zone.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Are you crazy? I'm saying you're a football player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Tom Brady this game.
You're in the red zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Let's go, baby!
It's 1st and goal.
All right, fellas, it is week 18. It's the final week of the regular season. A lot of these awards are probably wrapped up, so I'm just going to list a few of them, and I want you to pick a player, make a case for that, why that guy should be crowned winner of whatever award. So we'll start out with Rookie of the Year.
Now, this one is really difficult for me because everything is so geared towards quarterbacks. I think this year, have an open mind, whether we're talking Rookie of the Year or NFL MVP, because CJ Stroud has the Houston Texans on the verge of winning a division. And then you have Puka Nacua, who is on the verge of setting a rookie record that has stood since, 1960?
Mm-hmm.
But when it's all said and done, I think it's going to be advantage CJ Stroud for what he has done for the Houston Texans.
Well, it'll be advantage CJ Stroud because he's a quarterback and what he's done for the Houston Texans. If the Texans win this weekend and get into the playoffs, I believe it's going to be CJ Stroud. If the Texans do not win this week and get into the playoffs, and Puka Nacua, who's going to the playoffs, breaks the record, and I think he needs 29 yards receiving to break the rookie record. Now, granted, he'll have done it in more games than was done in the past. I think he's got a chance. I'm making arguments this year for the non-traditional, and everything goes to the quarterback. The rookie of the year's got to be the quarterback. The player of the year's got to be the quarterback. The MVP's got. But Puka Nacua's done it special, and he's been there every game. C.J. Stroud just missed 2. I believe it will go to C.J. Stroud, but I might lean to voting for Puka Nacua because of the year he's had. He is, and by the way, he saved the Rams early in the year. Now, granted, Jeff, they were 3-6. Okay, but look what he did when Cooper Kupp was out, and you got a guy that I don't know if Cooper Kupp's a Hall of Famer, but he's certainly one of the best receivers in the league. He was out early, and Puka Nacua saved that offense. And again, what is Rookie of the Year? You determine it. I think C.J. Stroud will win it, but I would vote for Nacua.
I'd vote for Puka as well, because not only with the yards, he's 3 catches away from most catches by a rookie. I mean, the guy's insane.
2nd and goal.
Ready, down, put.
All right, this one's a little bit closer. What about Coach of the Year?
So we had this conversation yesterday. I think Stefanski's going to win it, the Browns. They win a division. They've gone through 4 different quarterbacks, and one of them is Joe Flacco, and one of them is P.J. Walker, and one of them is Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Like, again, if you start the season, we had all these conversations. We all thought we knew something back in August. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson was the most valuable player of the preseason as far as I was concerned. But if you said, all right, not only are they going to go through Deshaun Watson and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, they're also going to go through P.J. Walker and pick a guy off the bench, and it's not Colin Kaepernick, and it's not Ben Roethlisberger, and it's Joe Flacco's going to come back, and you're going to go 11-5 to this point and win a division. I love what Dan Campbell's done. I love me some Dan Campbell. I think he's terrific. But with all due respect, they were favored. The Browns might have been favored, but not favored to go through 4 quarterbacks and hold it together in the injuries they had on defense. I lean Stefanski.
It's Kevin Stefanski. Now, it's because Cleveland has done all that, and I expect them to win a playoff game.
Yeah.
With Joe Flacco as their quarterback. Getting to 11 wins right now, a possibility to win 12.
They may end up in the conference championship.
And I credit Kevin Stefanski for that, keeping that team together. Because they went through a lot more injuries than just the quarterback. Nick Chubb had a lot of big-name defenders that have been in and out of the lineup. And to get through that, you need a little bit of luck. And Joe Flacco, it was a little bit lucky that he came in and exploded. But it's also, you still had the team together. You never lost the team. You never stopped competing through all that to be in this position.
And he was on the hot seat, wasn't he? I mean, we were talking about Stefanski being fired like mid-season.
3rd and goal.
All right. What about Offensive Player of the Year?
Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill. There's only 2 to debate. Christian McCaffrey, all-around fantastic season. And you look at, all right, what's going to be the difference? And maybe just the game. And, Tyreek Hill, he only missed that 1 game, but it's just enough when you have the 2 most explosive offensive players in the NFL this season. Where are you going to lean? Christian McCaffrey, for me, the overall impact he's had in that offense, just a fantastic season. And this is someone that I've debated Tyreek Hill for NFL MVP, but I'm going to him.
So we're going to go do Offensive Player of the Year, assuming that Lamar's going to win that, and so somebody else gets Offensive Player of the Year? Because I'm a McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey may still have my vote for MVP. Lamar's been great, but it's McCaffrey. He's been everything and more that in a league where we devalued running backs, where we said you can find one anywhere. You can't find that anywhere. He's been phenomenal. Tyreek Hill's been great. Christian McCaffrey's the Offensive Player of the Year.
Is there anything Tyreek could do this weekend while Christian sits?
Go for 350. I mean, and lead that team to a division championship like single-handedly, yeah. If he goes nuts and makes plays and takes these short passes and goes for 3 touchdowns and wins a division championship, yeah, then we have a conversation. Are you on Hill? Is that why?
Goal.
Did I stutter? Fear me.
All right, and this one was probably the most difficult for me, the defensive player of the year.
I love me some Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett's terrific. I think what he's done, and again, I'm going to go back to the whole Cleveland situation where the defense at times kind of had to hold that thing together. They were beat up, and he's been terrific with everything they've been through, with everything that he's come back from. The whole helmet situation. Remember when he hit Mason Rudolph over the head ripped the guy's helmet off? I mean, this is the same dude we're talking about, right? This is the guy who ripped another man's helmet off of his head and hit him with his own damn helmet. And now we're talking about him for defensive player of the year. He's been terrific. Let me give you the other guy that I love, though. I love Deron Bland and what he's done. The way he's, returning the pick 6 number is insane to me. He might be my number 2 guy, but I'm a Myles Garrett.
This is one that it's hard at times because the stats are not always going to be there. Like the list that DC gave us, Micah Parsons is the betting favorite for defensive player of the year, and you did not mention his name.
I didn't.
And it's kind of the Aaron Donald thing, where you can be the most impactful player on the field, but you won't necessarily have the stats to back it up. Like you pull up the stats, TJ Watt is leading the league in sacks. By the way, Trey Hendrickson at 17. And so those sometimes are the challenging things. I don't think there's a wrong answer in this. I am with you in terms of Myles Garrett, TJ Watt. I think Myles Garrett is the leader. TJ Watt is right behind him. And then Micah Parsons, Deron Bland have had fantastic seasons. And when it's all said and done, Myles Garrett. For me, defensive player there.
Who are you?
I kept going back and forth between Garrett and TJ Watt because Watt has kept them alive. I mean, he is just a complete disruptor. So every time I thought I was sure one guy, I'd start to argue the other. I'm good with Myles Garrett, though. That guy is insane. So either one of those, fine. I do think it's interesting how we all just sort of overlooked Micah Parsons because he came out looking great, but hasn't as much over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So it's a very interesting conversation, but I at this very moment, I probably would. If I had a vote, I'd probably go Garrett.
Just because you don't pick a guy doesn't mean you're disrespecting him.
And you're right about that.
And Myles Garrett is still everything you think. I'm sorry. Micah Parsons is still everything we think Micah Parsons is. Right? I mean, just if you think Michael Jordan's better than LeBron James, it doesn't mean you're disrespecting LeBron James. If you got to make a decision and there's one, there's other dudes out there that are doing it. I don't think it's disrespecting Micah Parsons in any way to say, you know what, this year, that guy's the player of the year. I just, that's just how I come out on it.
No, I think that's very fair.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. You can get in on anything we just said. I mean, your thoughts on it. There's a week left. Is there anything that is everything decided? Like you didn't even put MVP on there because you're just assuming that's done, right? That's Lamar. Am I crazy if I still think Christian McCaffrey would get my vote?
No, that's not crazy. I mean, when you put up 2,500 yards of offense, you're in the conversation. So.
I mean, it feels that way, right?
Yeah.
All right. 505-246-0610. You got a bunch of correspondence in today on the Lobos last night, on football, on all the stuff that's going on. When we come back, I want to get into the Lobo game a little bit more. I've got your thoughts on getting through the Rams last night, and it's all or nothing for the Bills. And how crazy is this? And do you blow up the organization if they don't make it? Because this is a team that we all think could get to the Super Bowl. They may not make the playoffs. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Sunday night and Monday night and Thursday night football.
Say my name, say my name.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop. Santa Paws has left thousands of holiday gifts for your furry, scaly, and winged family members. Pick up a gift for a pet lover or even a new pet. Clark's has shelves full of pet beds, sweaters, toys and treats, habitats and tanks galore. Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations for all your pet needs. 11200 Manal Northeast or 4914 Lomas Northeast. Clark's is celebrating 50 years. Thanks to you, the Christmas Superstore. ClarksPets.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs.
1 and 2. And then
I love Nevada.
Yeah, you could go Nevada. I still think New Mexico is right there, and then I'd go Utah State.
All right. And I think the Lobos are right there in the top 3 also, however you want to put it. I think Colorado State's got to be the #1 team because who they've beaten. The Gonzaga win was big, going on the road. Aztecs 2 losses are at BYU early, and then they lost at Grand Canyon. And people are like, look, how do you lose to Grand Canyon? I think they're 12-1 and like a 48 net or something, right? It's not one of those losses where you're going to look at and just go, wow, that's going to kill you. San Diego State tends to lose games in the Mountain Time Zone midweek every year, right? They'll go to Air Force, Colorado State, Wyoming. They go up there and they get beat. It feels like every year. But I don't know, man. What I saw last night, I saw a pretty good team last night.
Yes, Colorado State is deservedly in the conversation to win this conference. If you open up this morning, even after that win over New Mexico, like San Diego State 24th in Ken Palm, Colorado State 29th.
Where did New Mexico fall down to?
Mexico's 36th.
Okay. All right, you can get in on it at 505-246-0610. All right, before the break, I told you it's all or nothing, right? And will they make a change? Do you blow it up? If the Bills don't win, and we all sit here and think the Bills could be the representative of the AFC in the Super Bowl, could be. If the Steelers and Jaguars win, and the Texans and Colts does not end in a tie, it's either division title or nothing for the Buffalo Bills. They play at Miami. They either get the 2 seed or they could be out completely. If they miss out, do you blow that thing up? Do you change coaches? Because that team is too damn good to miss out on the playoffs.
Yes, you do.
So you blow it up? You change coaches? What do you do?
I think you have a player like Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Who's going to keep you competitive for a long time. Sean McDermott, you say, appreciate you. Thanks for this foundation, but it's got to be better.
So what's better? Where are you looking?
I would like to pair Josh Allen with a Ben Johnson or someone along those lines.
So
McDermott
like
is your
that.
classic defensive guy. Because look at some of the change from when they had an OC and Brian Daboll, who was really good, won NFL Coach of the Year for work he did with a quarterback like Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get it's kind of re-spark that offensive coaching staff, that could be something that helps push that team to be more consistent overall in the season, because this is the classic, remember that Tuesday night game in Charlotte? Well, yeah, it came back to bite you type of deal early in the season.
So you like a Ben Johnson or I don't know. I can't see Harbaugh ending up in Buffalo. Can you?
I don't.
What about Brian Johnson, the offensive coordinator for Philly? You think if they make a change, they've got to go offense, right? Because then, Dan Quinn's sitting out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you bring in the right offensive people, then you're okay. I think they make a change. I agree with you. If they don't get in the playoffs, I really do. Whether I think it's justified or not, that team is too damn good, to me, to not make the playoffs. Now, I think they're going to win. I think they're better than Miami. I think Miami's in trouble. I think Miami's the team.
How do you feel about Miami then?
Yeah, I think Miami, after just getting run out of the building, they gave up 56 points the other day to the Ravens. Now, as good as the Ravens are, and we all seem to think the Ravens are the best team in the National Football League, and rightfully so. They've won, I think, 9 of their last 10. It's not like they've been scoring 50. And they scored 33 against the Niners. It's pretty good. 23, 37, 20, 34. I guess they are scoring a lot of points. 56 is stupid. Like 56 is a number you're like, damn, you gave up 70. You scored 70 on one team and gave up 56 in another game. I'm a little concerned about them. Now, Tyreek coming back will be a big deal for them. I think it's a big next few weeks for Tua Tagovailoa.
And it's also now Miami. You lost Bradley Chubb.
Yep.
Towards ACL in the final minutes, the fourth quarter blowout.
Why are you even in the game? Yep.
Something you have to answer for Mark McDaniel.
Yep. Does it shine off him a little bit if they get beat the next 2 weeks?
Of course. You're always, it's the ebbs and flows. It's the reality of in the moment, in the situation, and when you have it at home, that's where this game is. You put yourself in position to handle business at home. And it's a team that handled you early in the season. The Bills left no doubt in that first matchup. And we're going in, and people aren't on Miami.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's Mike McDaniel, it's Tua, it's Vic Fangio. All right, you have to adjust. You wanted to leave your players out there late in that game. They got hurt. Now how are you going to deal with it?
Dwight wants to know, are we going to ram it today in honor of the Colorado State Rams win? I maybe not. Maybe not.
Doesn't quite work the same.
Yeah, maybe not. All right, we're not going to do that either. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Did you see this last night? Grambling's women's basketball. Jeff, what stop it. They won by 141 points last night. Can you imagine calling that game? They won by 141 points. The biggest margin of victory in Division I women's basketball history. Who'd they play? The College of Biblical Studies. It's the kind of stuff you make up, right? Right? You always say, oh, they're playing our sisters, the Sisters of the Poor, the College of Biblical Studies. 159-18. 8 players scored in double figures. They were up 34-0. Their opponent's first points came at the 2:14 mark of the opening quarter. They closed with a 12-4 run, scored the first 12 points of the second quarter. They were up 82-10 at halftime. Second half, they were just as dominant. They allowed 3 points in the third quarter. College of Biblical Studies lone field goal of the period came with $1:04 to go. As amazing as that stat is, let me give you one even more stupid. All right, so in a game where they lost, what was the number, 159-18, how many turnovers do you think College COBS had? College of Biblical Studies. How many turnovers do you think they had? If 75. I tell you it's astronomical. Okay, 75 is a good guess. What do you think?
I'm looking at it.
57 turnovers. Like, why are you even doing this to these poor people? The previous record, by the way, was Savannah State beat Wesleyan of Georgia 155-26. College of there's so many bad jokes in
It's not the college of studying basketball.
There's so many bad jokes in here.
I don't even know where to begin. The College of Biblical Studies.
I wonder what the spread was.
Well, that's
could have been 141.
No, it's Vegas.
They wouldn't have
probably
a spread
like
on that game.
No, they wouldn't have a spread on that game.
I think it's a D2 opponent.
All right, I'm going to take
those kids, man. That's not even a bus ride. That's like you got that extended van where you put your team in it, and you got to drive from Houston to northern Louisiana
and back
to play a basketball game,
and then go back. You've been on those buses, huh?
Thankfully, we get full-size buses.
Yeah, that's nice. So you get your own row?
D1 full-size buses, yeah.
159-18. What do you say after that? What do you want for dinner? You guys want Jimmy John's or Domino's? Like, what do you say? I'm sorry, Jersey Mike's.
Oh, they're going to Chick-fil-A, I think.
They're going to Chick-fil-A? Yeah, that's really good. Yeah,
so their undergraduate enrollment is 418.
Yeah, their undergraduate enrollment is 418.
Like 12 people that like, hey, you guys want to play basketball?
Who wants to play ball? You guys want to go? We're going to Grambling.
3% of the whole team, or of the whole school plays for the women's college basketball team.
3% of the whole school plays for.
We've seen crazy scores, but usually like South Carolina over Mississippi Valley State. Grambling did this.
We lost by 141 points. I don't even.
Did they get like $1,000 for that game? Maybe
they play in the Southwest region of the Division II National Christian College Athletic Association. Boy, that's a lot. So the National Christian College. Did you know there was such a thing? The National Christian College Athletic Association. They're in the Southwest region of Division II of that. So they're not even Division I. They're not NCAA. They're not NAIA. They're not Division II. They're I mean, I get it, man. We're bringing someone in to beat up on, but like, how do you even go shake that coach's hand after the game? What do you say? Sorry? What's the conversation? I'm walking over there to shake that, or you just walk by? And more so, you're the team that just got your ass kicked. Mm-hmm. What do you say? You don't say a word, right? You just shake their hand and walk by, right? I mean, there's nothing to say, right? Thanks for the $500 in lunch that you fed us. Can you gas up our bus so we can get home? 159-18. I damn. I mean, I've been a part of some butt kickings.
So this is the first year of basketball for that college.
For Cobbs?
Right. Yep.
They got peach baskets or what?
I was thinking that.
Right.
I'm digging around.
Yeah.
But I think there's a chance they were on peach baskets up until this year.
College of Biblical Studies.
That is just so wonderful.
And I don't know if you're Grambling. Dude, what do you do? Do you stop? I mean, if you're obviously you're playing, a junior high school team, and so do you stop playing?
No,
you got to go out and play, right?
You got to do like your dad does, like only shoot left-handed, or I'll just play one hand. Or
yeah, if you're a coach, like, all right, you have to pass the ball 5 times to take a shot this possession. All right, this possession, get it up the floor without dribbling.
I want 6 passes before. Yeah, that's all that's fair.
They're giving up 103 points per game this season.
Who is? Cobbs?
College of Biblical Studies. I will credit to them.
What's their nickname?
They are not the lowest scoring team.
They're not.
No.
In the world or what?
No, in their 32 team D2 region conference. They're not.
They're not?
That's Appalachian Bible College.
Okay.
28.6 points per game.
What's their nickname?
So the Cobbs Ambassadors.
Of course they are. Yeah. Jim says, I asked, what do you say? Jim sent me a text, says, you say, bless you, my child.
Peace be with you.
505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The sports animal, your home for Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football, and the Super Bowl.
This is your home for the Super Bowl on the radio, and not just this year.
Fried chicken, red.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro V. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite
David Tepper said he is passionate about his team, but he regrets his behavior. Quote from the owner of the Panthers, "I should have let NFL stadium security handle any issues that arose. I respect the NFL's code of conduct and accept the league's discipline for my behavior," end quote. Now, he's worth $20.6 billion, so the fine represents less than 1% of 1% of his wealth. I don't even know what that means. Well, 1%. Yeah. So if you're worth $1 million, 1% is, and it's 1% of that, and he's worth $20 billion. Okay, so it's similar. There was a fine. Bud Adams back in 2009. He was then the owner of the Titans. Made an obscene gesture at Bills fans. You can't do that. You good with this? 300
Not
grand?
at all.
All right,
dude. They should have taken away draft pick from this franchise. This is outrageous. We're talking about an NFL owner throwing a drink on someone else.
So what draft picks are they taking?
Second, third round pick.
Woo, really?
Yes, this is unacceptable. If a player did this, they'd be suspended and fined, just like that. This is nothing. We're talking about something from 2009 where a dude flipped someone off and got $250,000. This man threw a drink on someone. That is grounds for, hey, you're going at it with someone. Like, and he's an NFL owner?
Kind of, yeah.
Like they should have hit this franchise. All right, you're passionate about it. Guess what? We're taking away a draft pick. This is ridiculous, man. To throw a drink on another human being and think you can do that because you're an NFL owner.
Well,
you're that entitled.
Yeah, and you're that rich, and you can do whatever you want. Where are you?
I'm kind of with JJ on this. I'm surprised they were 300 grand's nothing. I mean, come on. When you throw a drink at someone, you're assaulting them. You know, whether you're the owner of a football team or just a fan in the crowd, you don't have to take that.
So what do you think should have happened?
Draft picks make sense. You have
how high? How many? A fifth?
You have to do something impactful. A fifth probably could do it. I mean, you have to make a point though.
$1 million and a fifth round pick?
The money doesn't even matter. I mean, it's hard to when you see a guy worth $20 billion saying $1 million.
Where does fine money go? Like I'm the NFL and I just find you $1 million. Where does it go?
Charities.
Does it all go to charities? All right, so give me $1 million. I'm taking away a fifth round pick. Does that satisfy you?
I'm hitting him hard because that's
not hard enough.
I'm going higher than that. Like I'm talking second, third round pick because this is just so unacceptable from anyone in the franchise, and then especially an owner, because that is just showing a sense of entitlement that you are untouchable.
What about finding you $1 million, taking away a fifth round pick, and the dude who you threw a drink at, you and him are getting into a ring? What? You throw a drink at someone, in your words, that's assault, and you're not wrong. It kind of says, let's go, right? What happens if you're in a bar, someone throws a drink at you?
It's go time.
Kind of is, right?
Yeah.
You're at a stadium. That's how fights start, man. We see it all the time on video. Dude throws a drink at him, and then hands are flying. Right? To your point, JJ, the dude thinks he's above it. $1 million, fifth round pick, and you and this guy are going to go throw hands. Yeah. We're all going to watch.
I'm saying, if you want to act this way, we have watched.
I'm kidding, kind of, but
we've watched coaches go down for misconduct. We watch owners get thrown out for misconduct. Like, if you want to act this way, I'm hitting your franchise. Like, that is my first warning. I'm taking away a high draft. If you're trying to turn this franchise around, you already don't have a number 1 overall pick because you traded it for Bryce Young. Well, how about this? We're taking away your 2nd round pick. Like, this needs to be a statement. But then this is also,
your franchise is going to stink for the next 4 years.
But this is also the one where you have other owners. And who does Roger Goodell work for?
Well, he works for the owners.
So are they going to want to come down hard on?
Can you
one of their
suspend
dudes?
a guy for, like, you can't be at a game for for 3 games? You can, right? You can't be in the stadium.
That means nothing.
I mean, it means. So how do you hit an owner, dude?
You hit the franchise. If for an incident like this, like, you assaulted a fan, an NFL fan. Like, I get it. They're screaming. Fans are dumb. They are. I love you, but we're dumb because of the way you act. Pull up social media.
Yes.
The stuff people tell me. I'm not even an owner. I just talk into a microphone.
No, you're dumb.
But
I mean,
they're
I'm dumber. Don't get me wrong.
Like, this is one where if I'm the NFL,
yeah,
and I get it because it's the owners, it's the good old boys club. You don't want to do something that could happen to you, but I think all those other guys are sitting there going, man.
How many of these guys ever thought about throwing a drink on a fan?
Thought about it? A lot of them.
Yeah, all of them.
All right.
Actually followed through with it? This fool.
Put the shoe on the other foot. What if it was the fan throwing the drink at the owner?
Oh, arrested.
They wouldn't even. They would find a way that dude couldn't even watch NFL games.
Never go to another game.
They'd turn off his TV.
Yeah, they cut his access to the.
That's right. You don't get Red Zone anymore, no matter how much you're paying for it. You can't walk into a bar with Red Zone. That's a great way to look at it. I like it a lot. So if a fan would have thrown a drink at David Tepper for being an idiot, which obviously he is, right? You're right. No, that fan's hauled off, taken to the Huskow, never gets into a stadium again, and they can press charges. And David Tepper, I'm not going to press charges. That's a really good point. So he got fined $300,000. What if dude? I don't even know if it was dude. Was it a woman? Who was the recipient of the? What kind of drink was it? Was it a beer, soda, water? What was it? Kind of matters.
You know, I just saw kind of the generic plastic cup.
I mean, if it's water, then it washes out. If it's a dark, it was a bourbon, it can stain your nice.
Yeah, you got the on-field jersey for
$400.
$400.
I just bought your damn jersey. Now I got your nasty ass bourbon swill all over me. Yeah, and it stains. Yeah, that makes a difference. But no, that's a really good point. What if that person wanted to press charges against David Tepper? In fact, why wouldn't he?
He's going to get paid out of it. He or she.
No, seriously, why wouldn't he or she or whoever it is at that point? You know what I'm saying?
No, I expect that to be coming sometime soon.
I'm the person who called David Tepper an idiot, and David Tepper then assaulted me, and I'm suing for $5 million. Let's settle for $1 million.
That sounds like it's.
Damn, dude. Yeah. I'm going to go talk bleep to David Tepper.
Yeah, I know. He's the guy, right?
You buy
drinks thrown us.
Here, you buy him a drink, and I'll split the winnings with you.
Yeah, it's a lottery ticket system.
Doesn't it feel that way?
It does.
That's the way it's going to happen. All right, 505-246-0610. Wrap up everything you need to know as you go through your, what day is today? Wednesday, when we get back. Get your final correspondence. Still have time for you to get in at 505-246-0610. Winter's going to hit this week. They're telling you a storm's coming tomorrow. Another storm's coming on Sunday. And that means your car is going to be mucky and dirty. When the weather clears out, call On the Spot Automotive Detailing, because this cold weather makes it easy for the dirt and the mud and the road salt to all stick to your car. My friends over at On the Spot Automotive Detailing can help you keep your car clean this winter. You're going to tell me you don't have time. I'm going to tell you don't need time. And you're going to say, what does that even mean, Jeff? Well, it means that they come to you when it's convenient for you, when it works for you, where it works for you. That means at your office while you're working there out in the parking lot, or you're at home, they're in the driveway. On the Spot Automotive Detailing will do it for you wherever and whenever it's convenient. When they're done, your car looks and it feels and it smells brand new. Remember the day you took it off the lot, how fun it was to be in it? That's what it'll be like after On the Spot Automotive Detailing is done with it. Awarded Best of the City for 2023 because they are reliable, they are efficient, and they are the best at what they do. Book online, find all the details at otsdetailing.com. It's otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance.
Today, here's what everybody's going to be talking about as you roll through it today. We're going to be talking about the Lobos last night, opening up conference play on the road in Fort Collins. Colorado State beat New Mexico 76-68 was the score last night. Patrick Cartier had 21 points for the Rams. Isaiah Stevens, 18 points, 8 assists. Lobos were led by J.T. Toppin, 17 points, 11 rebounds. Jalen House had 14 points in just 18 minutes of play, hobbled by foul trouble last night. Lobos fall to 0-1. The 11-game win streak is over their home for Wyoming in the Pit. That'll be Saturday, 8 o'clock. That's the tip time. What else are people going to be talking about? Well, they're going to be talking about Grambling's women. No, they're not, Jeff. They are. Grambling's women beat College of Biblical Studies 159-18. Biggest point spread in the history of Division I basketball. I mean, does it really count as Division I basketball if College of Biblical Studies, a first-year program in the National Collegiate Christian Association Division II? How does that count as a Division I game? Because there was a Division I team?
Yeah, I think it's because they
get one.
Yeah.
If you have one, then there's one?
No, if you can count one win against a non-D1 team towards your regular. Right?
Yeah, but it counts in the record books as the biggest beat. All right. I mean, fine. I guess that's what people will be talking about as well. And then I think this is going to be interesting to see the fallout and how this is perceived. Rory McIlroy, who
hit Liv,
said he was too judgmental about the Liv defectors. He came out today on a podcast. Stick to Football is the name of the podcast. And he said that, quote, I think at this point, I was maybe a little judgmental of the guys who went to Liv at the start. I think it was a bit of a mistake on my part because I now realize that not everyone is in my position or in Tiger Woods' position. We all turn to professionals to make a living playing the sports that we do. I think that's what I realized over the last 2 years. I can't judge people for making that decision. That was a quote. I think a lot of people are going to be talking about what Rory had to say and how that goes and how Rory mends fences now. And you guys, I don't know what I expect from golf to look like. So we're still going to have Liv and PGA, but now they're merged, but they're not merged, so they're going to have their own tour. I still don't know what I expect golf to look like this year.
I am right there with you. No idea. And this is the big thing, is that they're fighting for the future of golf, consumers, and what do the majors look like in terms of how you get to qualifies for the field.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of unanswered questions.
So if you have an option on a Sunday afternoon to watch the John Deere or the Liv Tucson or the Liv Trump, whatever course Trump's hosting Liv on this week, what are you watching? And I'm going to tell you, I like the format of watching guys play 1 through 18 as opposed to the shotgun start. I know people like the shotgun start. Everything's happening at the same time. But I still like the traditional format. I don't know that I'm going to evolve to get over to liking the shotgun better. I like knowing what's coming through, and I like that pressure of it. So I don't know that I'm going to get there. I like the 4 rounds as opposed to 3, although on Sunday I don't know that it matters, right? Does it matter to you who's at the top of the leaderboard? Does it matter what network it's on? Like, what are you going to watch on a Sunday?
Network is key in that regard. Because if you're just sitting there in the summer clicking through, we still haven't gotten there as a fan base to get to the CW to watch play.
Yeah. That's where the Arizona Bowl was, the Barstool Arizona Bowl. Yeah. I mean, what are you watching? Are you saying, well, it's Dustin Johnson and it's John Rahm, or it's Corey Clemens and Sam Saunders, right? You watching the star power? You watching the established brand? I'm not sure I'm on Liv. Like, I can't tell you I watched 10 holes of Liv Golf last year. I don't even know if I watched 4 holes of Liv. I mean, honestly, I couldn't. The CW was blacked out on my TV last year anyway. I don't even know if it's back. But what's the best ability again? I forget. Availability, right? I mean, are you there yet? Because I don't know what golf's going to look like. And so many of us do, and you guys do. We watch golf. But I'm really interested to see what it looks like. Hey, one other thing we didn't hit today, and I think this is relatively significant, and it happened in the National Basketball Association. We'll talk about it with Kenny on Friday. Oklahoma City beating the Celtics last night is a significant score, don't you think? Celtics are the best team in the NBA. And last night, that young Oklahoma City Thunder team with guy who's the front runner for Rookie of the Year right now, and Chet Holmgren and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they won in Oklahoma, 127-123. They beat the Celtics. The Thunder are 23-9, and they're legit. Like, are they? When you start talking contenders, at what point do you start saying, "Damn, look at the top of the standings, and Oklahoma City's number 2 behind Minnesota"? Because those aren't the 2 teams that you start telling me about when you start telling me about the Western Conference.
Now,
okay,
you start talking about them now as conference contenders, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doesn't have anything left to prove. He's an MVP candidate year in and year out. They have shooting. Chet Holmgren is a difference maker defensively because he is so long.
Mm-hmm.
That's a team that we're going to go into the playoffs, and the narrative is going to be, well, they haven't done anything yet, so let's see it. Let's see them go through that battle. Let's see them learn and grow. But if you're sitting there and you're going to be a top 3 team in the Western Conference, you kind of have to look past experience a little bit and understand that, yeah, this team is different.
They're really nice. I was significant last night. Worst team in the NBA, Detroit at 3-30, San Antonio at 5-28, or Washington at 6-26. Who's the worst team?
Troy Pistons. You lose 28 straight games.
It's talent.
You're the worst team.
That is talent.
And Cade Cunningham is really good.
I know, really good.
They won 3 games.
Yeah. Victor Wembanyama had a nice game last night. He had 20 points and 7 rebounds. They lost 106-98 to the Grizzlies. Wembanyama is, I mean, there's nothing else there, is there? And I don't. It's hard to sit there and blame it all on Popovich. The roster's just not good. There's some really, really bad NBA teams. And I guess there is every year, huh? There's just the bottom of the league is just always just horrid, isn't it?
There's 5 teams that haven't won 10 games.
Portland's the other one, and who's the fifth?
Charlotte's 8-24.
Charlotte, yeah.
Portland's 9-23. Spurs 5-28.
Yeah. I mean, there's some really, really bad teams. Playoffs don't matter right now. Lakers are in the 10th spot. That's the last play-in spot, 17-17, and they are a half game better than Golden State. The top of the Western Conference is Minnesota, Oklahoma City, Denver, the Clippers, and then Sacramento. Top of the East is what you expected. Now, this is what you expected to look like: Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, Miami. Now, maybe you didn't expect Orlando to be 5, but the top of the East looks exactly like everybody expected it to, right?
Yes.
I mean, is there somebody there that I'm missing that should have been there that isn't? Nope. This is the 4 teams that you said, here's the top of the East. The top of the West, I mean, look, everybody, it was Phoenix, it was a little Sacramento thrown in there. It was nobody on Minnesota, Oklahoma City at the top.
Not at all. And this is a really good time for the NBA, especially looking at that Western Conference, because you have a legit star on all these teams, from Anthony Edwards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm fascinated by the Clippers because there's going to be zero belief in there, but Kawhi Leonard has played the majority of the season. He missed a couple games recently, but like that works.
It's working right now.
James Harden, right, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. That's fascinating. And then I like the Pelicans. Zion Williamson back in the lineup. They have a solid 3 with CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and they're up there 6 games above 500 in 6th place.
Yeah. All right, text line, I was wrong about the Browns. I feel like the Bills are going to dominate Miami, but it's not going to matter because the Steelers and the Jaguars are going to both win. If the Bills win, they're in. It does matter. The Bills win, they're in. All right, tomorrow, new Aggie football coach Tony Sanchez is going to be with us at 8 o'clock in the morning. You'll get to meet Tony if you don't already know him. Former UNLV coach. He's going to be with us, introduced formally today. And Jerry Palm will be with us tomorrow. Great work, Adrian. Great work, DC. Appreciate everything, cutting up all those clips. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On is here at 4. And then we'll be back at 7 a.m. tomorrow with award-winning radio then. Big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Hey, be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
so that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I give you the business. Touchdown.